Now, let me tell you, this first story has me all sorts of weirded out. And to be all the way honest, it was one of my biggest fears when I was joining the media industry or the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
It was bullying, especially bullying by people within the industry who've been there for longer, and you're new. You don't know what happens. You don't know how, you don't know which side is left, which side is right.
True.
You're just in the middle of everything. And this story involves one of two radio presenters, one of who is Gitobu, as she has mentioned, and the very famous Miss Mandi. I feel like she's been up on this story since like 6 a.m. in the morning. She honestly has been having all the alerts. So take it away, Miss Turi.
Wacha nikwambie, Miss Mandi is the workplace bully. Twitter has been on fire. Apparently, when her colleague started out, he was very green. He just started out in the industry, and she used to call him out for the clothes he would wear. Like, she would stop everything that was going on in the office just so people can look at what he's wearing. And I even saw people went as far as tweeting some meme of someone holding his nose. Miss Mandi, when you walk past her wearing Gikomba clothes, and she would even go ahead and even hold 3-hour meetings to tell people that she did not want them working with her. But because she had no power yet, they had to do what she had to do. And would even go to such lengths as telling people or making fun of people for not ordering in lunch. Because Gitobu was telling us that he would carry packed lunch. You know when you're starting out, we're not being paid the same, When you start out in the media industry, there are these people who've been there for a while, and you expect them to mentor you and show you how things are done. But no, she would make fun of him for carrying packed lunch, as if we can all afford ordering in delivery every lunch hour. What do you think of that?
I honestly do not even know where to begin. Now, in case you haven't been following this story, as Turi has mentioned, it is a beef between a couple of people versus Miss Mandi. And it all started on Wednesday, on the 19th, when she said this on her Twitter, right? She went ahead and said, I truly dislike people, and this is Miss Mandi Saro. She said, I truly dislike people who aren't big on accountability. You can go around doing things that hurt people, then you are afraid of being accountable for your actions.
Yeah.
You are stunting your own growth. Now, Mr. Koome Gitobu, who was also a co-worker with Miss Mandi at that time, went ahead and said, okay, he's not going to let this slide. It seems it was a whole lot of drama. He said this, just sitting here, watching the person who constantly terrorized and brutally bullied me the entire time we worked together talking about accountability. And just like that, we're like, okay, sir, go on, tell us the whole tea situation.
I love how she just went on Twitter to act high and mighty.
Exactly.
And things turned against her. People were like, and stop right there.
Yeah.
You are the bully. You are the one stunting growth.
And absolutely true to the fact that it seems like, okay, sometimes it's always just like, you're always going, maybe it's just that one guy. Maybe it's just one person who had all these beef with Miss Mandi Saro. But Antonio So, who is also a former worker, they used to work together and is still a radio presenter at this point, went and said, and the Madarao she would show yet another presenter by the name of Kate Rira in meetings, berating her like a child, critiquing her grammar all the time, and mine as well. Like, where did you study? And proceeded to laugh. And that's just the tip of the toxic iceberg. He continues to say many, many things, including the fact that she sat them down for those 3 hours that Turi has mentioned. And I'm just going, okay, but the comments on Twitter, Kenyans on Twitter will not let people slide when it comes to this drama. They talked about everything from her being critical or being very criticizing about people who wore clothes that were cheaper than what she would deem as worthy. People were over there saying things like Miss Mandi reading names of people who repeated clothes at the workplace and calling them not bougie like herself. Miss Mandi trying to, this one killed me. Miss Mandi sees Koome Gitobu retrieving mandazi from his backpack with the intentions of eating it in front of her, and memes were just going on and on and on. But here is the problem that I have with this particular story. As I mentioned, it was one of those fears that I had joining the media industry because, first of all, the pay rates are so different. When you're starting out, you're never paid as well as the other people. But that shouldn't be an issue because even they started where you started. So it's supposed to be like a point of empathy where you're going, oh yeah, I completely understand where you're going, what you're going through right now. And this is what I did to hack. This is what I did to be able to manage these things. Because not all of us can afford to not just drive to work. Not all of us can afford to take these taxis back and forth. It is expensive. Let me tell you, at that point, I used to live in Roy. My friend, do you know how much taxi fare from Roy to Westlands is? It is all of 2,000 shillings. Now let me ask you a question. You're paid what? Peanuts. And you have to pay literally 4,000 every time you come to work every single day. Do you think you can sustain that lifestyle?
You cannot.
On a starting salary in media industry, let alone in media industry, on a starting salary in any industry, do you think you can keep up with those Joneses? You cannot. Therefore, you need to come up with hacks. You need to start doing things like this, packing your own lunch. And this is a smart way to do it because you don't want to also start living such a fake lifestyle that you can't keep up with it.
Yeah.
Now you're loaning money just to be able to get a new car. And then you get a new car, you have an accident, problems. As in, there are problems upon problems upon problems. Yeah. And additionally, it got me thinking, okay, Turi, have you ever heard of industries or jobs in our country which do not employ people unless you are ex-Ivy League?
Yeah.
Ex, the one USI, we know all of it. These big names. You all know the universities which people always want to be associated with. Have you heard of people like that? Or industries and jobs like that where you just, if you're not ex-Ivy League or if you're not in that league of schools, then you wouldn't get employment?
So apparently the secret is radio stations want presenters who have an American accent. Yeah, you need to use your white people voice. I use my white people voice when I want to get things done, you know. We were last night when I was getting my Uber.
Taxi.
Yes, my taxi. When I was getting my taxi, Kathobi was like, huh, is that you? I was like, yes. Because the first person I called, you know, I talked to him very casually, and then he declined my ride. I don't know why. Yeah. So the second person, I was like, you know what? You're not going to do this to me. So what I did was I used my white person voice. And when you use your American accent, I think you get things done. Really and I think radio stations are looking for people who have an accent. That's why they go for people who went to that university, who studied abroad and then come back. And they, you know, overlook the people who have been Kenyans, you know, people who can relate to people. Yeah. And I think Miss Mandi felt like, just because I talk like this, I have my white person accent, you who's here talking in your mother tongue English, you do not deserve to be called a radio presenter like me. Yeah. You do not wear the bougie clothes I wear, so why would you, you know, why would you want to be in my league? And I think Gitobu even mentioned that the only time Miss Mandi was not harassing him was when he was not breathing around him. It was that bad. It was that bad. And you know, when you're starting out, you expect to know those people, your heroes. That's why I say, do not look at, when you meet your heroes, they disappoint you. Yeah. Do not meet your heroes. Nope. You find out they're just flawed human beings like you. Yeah.
Absolutely. And completely true to the fact. I love that now the industry has become a little more accommodating. Well, not a whole lot more, but a little more accommodating, that we have radio stations which only do Sheng, you know? We have people who can actually do shows in Sheng, in whatever language, whatever tribe that you come from. You have a place where you can actually be a presenter. You have a place where you can showcase your talent. And not just radio stations, but we have very amazing social media sites like YouTube where you can post anything, your vernacular. If you want to combine all your mother tongues, you can do that and do amazing content which people will still react to and love. So do not be disheartened just by this. A lot has changed in the media industry. What else is going on in another industry that we all envy?